Welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for this live web class with the one, the only Chad Weber and myself, Doren Aldana. We're going to be getting into some real powerful Facebook advertising secrets today. So get ready, strap on your seatbelt, get ready to rock. We're just about to rock this party. I just want to make sure that indeed the audio and the video is working. So Chad, give them a holler. Let's see if they can hear you okay.
Right. Hello, everybody. Testing 1, 2, 3.
All right, folks. I can hear Chad fine. You get if you could be so kind as to pop a little comment in the comment box. Let us know you can see the screen and hear our voice. Maybe, Chad, you could also share your screen, your PowerPoint, or whatever you're going to be using. If you haven't already done so. I don't know if this is what the power is. This the actual screen? Okay, it looks like. Okay, cool. So we're good there. All right, beautiful. So yeah, if you could pop a little comment in the comment box, everybody who's hearing us, just let us know you can see the screen and hear our voice. That would be reassuring that our technology is indeed working before we go full blast into this live training. I have yet to receive any confirmation, which isn't altogether confirming.
Okay, I'm getting a bunch on my end saying that
okay,
good to go, good to go.
So it's probably because I'm a panelist, not an organizer. So I think that's probably why I'm not getting the the interaction. So you're going to have to read out the questions. I won't be able to read out questions during question time. Apparently, you'll have to upgrade me to an organizer to be able to do that, and I don't think it's worth the hassle. So, all right, cool. So glad to see and hear that that is working. So I don't know if we're planning to record this or not. Technically, we do not do replays. At least I don't. I don't know what your policy is on this, but typically I don't record these. So whoever's live gets it. Whoever is late misses it. I'll leave that in your capable hands to discern, Chad. What your preference is. But I'll just do a quick introduction and then we'll get into it and do it, shall we?
Sounds good to me.
All right, everybody. So welcome to this live training. This is Doren Aldana, the mortgage marketing coach. I'm with my man, Chad Weber, who's a bona fide, certified, qualified expert in many things related to mortgage marketing. One in particular is Facebook advertising. This is not a gentleman who just talks theory. This is a guy who's been in the trenches for a long time, and I mean a long time, and he knows the game of marketing. He definitely knows the game of Facebook ads. He's been in the trenches doing it for longer than a lot of you have been in the business. And so he can definitely speak from experience today, and he will be, as to what works and what doesn't. So if you're looking for a way to generate more quality leads that are self-sourced, that actually convert without wasting your time and money on bunk Zillow leads, and without wasting your time and money doing crap that doesn't work, and just going straight to the cash with what does work, and learning the formula, the recipe for success as it relates to what to do and what not to do with Facebook advertising, you have certainly come to the right place today, because we've got a master on the training today, Chad Weber, who's going to unpack his secrets for you in the span of 60 to 70 minutes. So he's been a friend of mine for a while. He's been a colleague for quite some time. I've heard nothing but good things from him, from his clients. And I mean, apparently the dude also has a lot of clients paying him a lot of money, because he's got all kinds of fancy cars. I don't know, you know, it seems like every second week he's got a new fancy car he's ripping around and sharing on Facebook. So for those of you car buffs, you got to have to circle up with Chad on Facebook and become friends, just so you can drool over his cars. He's got some pretty wicked awesome cars. But without further ado, Chad, thanks so much for hanging with us today, and thanks for sharing your secrets.
Absolutely, absolutely. So glad to be here, and thank you for that introduction. And I have to give some tours in the cars there. I'm blaming you, Doren.
Absolutely.
So I have a quick request for everybody here. One of the things that I like to do on these calls, you might laugh a little bit, but there's method to the madness, and that is what I call the boom rule. So I see a lot of you guys have already put some booms in here. The boom rule is simply this, that as I'm going along and I'm covering some things that you feel are going to help your business or that you would like to know more about, I just ask that you type the word boom into the chat box. Now the logic behind that is, in some of these instances, and Doren, you can, I'm sure you can empathize with this. Sometimes you get 400, 500, 600 questions over the course of 60 minutes. And it's difficult to keep up with those, especially when you're in the middle of talking and multitasking by monitoring the question window at the same time. But when I see a bunch of booms, which really stick out because it's just 4 letters there, that tells me that you guys like what you're hearing, and that lets me know where to go, because I really try to modify what I have to say and customize the material to exactly what your needs are. So just type the word boom into the chat box when you like what you hear. All right? So that's my big request. My second request is this: questions. By all means, guys, these are very interactive sessions. So please post your questions. No such thing as a bad question, and I will get to them first come, first serve as time allows. All right. So with that said, let's go ahead and get right to the material, guys. Now, I know that I don't really need to convince you how important Facebook is, but just to drive home that point here today, I had some really, really interesting statistics that are current as of March this year. So as of March 2017, worldwide, folks, you have we're closing in on 2 billion monthly active users on Facebook. Now, that's not just total users, that's active people who are logging in on a regular basis. Okay. On mobile devices, we've been talking a lot about the need to run your Facebook ads on mobile, not just desktop. You have 1.15 billion daily. These are people that utilize Facebook on their mobile devices daily. Okay. 1.28 billion people log into Facebook itself daily. Age 25 to 34, 29.7% of users, guys. That's the biggest and most common age demographic on Facebook. Now, I bring this up because we keep seeing all these articles about mortgages and how first-time home buyers are one of the fastest growing segments, okay, especially between 2016 and 2017. So for those saying, well, you know, you can't really target the younger demographic, well, we see right here, it's the biggest chunk of users on Facebook, age 25 to 34. And how many of you guys have noticed that that's around the age bracket where folks are starting to buy their first home, right? So you have 76% of all females. Now this is in the U.S. 76% of all females in the U.S. and 66% of all males in the U.S. actively use Facebook on a regular basis. And 5 out of all page views, 1 out of 5 of all page views on the internet, guys, in the United States are on Facebook. So, in other words, definitely, this is something that you absolutely need to be using. For those of you questioning, well, you know, maybe it's optional, or maybe it's something that I might look into as I go down the road. But really, can you find another tool that reaches just about every person that you could hope to market to in the U.S.? Now, here's what we're going to be discussing as we go along today, guys. I'm going to talk to you about where almost everyone goes wrong on Facebook. Okay, simple truths about human behavior that can skyrocket your results. How to consistently get 300 to 400% better results using the same ad. So if you're using an ad and you're just not getting the results, just little things that you can do to get 3 to 4 times the results that you're getting with that exact same ads. 3 tiny tweaks that make any lead instantly better and more likely to talk to you. So for those of you that say, hey, you know what, I capture leads, but I can't get the people to call me back or to respond to my emails, we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then I'm going to show you something towards the end of today's session that's just going to absolutely rock your world when you see some of the things that we have coming down the pipe. All right? So with all that said, let's get right to the material. So the first thing that I want to do here today, guys, is I'm going to exit my slides and we're going to go live to Facebook itself. Okay, because you guys, if you've been on my webinars before, you know that I'm really big on live as opposed to just talking at you. I like to show you. So if you guys can give me just one moment here, I'm actually going to exit and go live to one of my many Facebook accounts here. So here we go. So it should be showing up right about now. And we're going to talk a little bit about some of the latest changes in Facebook and some of the features that Facebook's been rolling out and the proper way to utilize and wield these tools if you want to get the most out of your Facebook ads. So do we have anybody on the call today that has not run a Facebook ad? Anybody? Let me know in the chat box. Is there anybody here today that has not run an ad on Facebook before? Okay. Versus how many of you have? I'm just curious what that intermix is like. How many of you folks have run ads versus who hasn't? So, okay. All right. So it's as odd as this may seem, it's almost a 50-50 split. Okay, so Jeff says, well, I do, but I have no idea what to do. Well, we're going to fix that right now, folks. So what we're looking at right now is the Facebook ads dashboard. And this is where a lot of folks start to get a little into that overwhelm. And that is, well, which of these ads do I want to run? You have brand awareness, you have reach ads, traffic ads, engagement ads, video views, lead generation, conversions. All of these things, a lot of them sound really great. But I'm going to make things really, really easy for you. And I'm going to tell you that there's really primarily two ads that you're going to run more often than any others. And that is a traffic ad, number one, and a lead generation ad, number two. They're two completely different ad products. But today we're going to focus on the traffic ad. So that's where I'm going to click. Okay? So once we've clicked, guys, the first thing that we're going to do to make things easy for you is give this a name that is easily recognizable. So this is, your clients aren't going to see this, your prospects aren't going to see this. This is for your own edification. When you start running a bunch of ads and you look in your dashboard later, this is what's going to keep you from being confused. So I might even put in here a date so that I will know when these ads were run. Now, I'm not going to go through step by step and show you every little step into creating an ad. Okay, there's a lot of things out there that will show you how to do that, including YouTube videos. But what I am going to do right now is I'm going to show you some of the important things that most people don't teach that's going to give you an edge. And that first quote-unquote thing is right here, folks. When we're scrolling down and setting up an ad, a lot of folks will just leave this location target at default where it says everyone in this location. That's not really a good idea. Instead, I like to click on this drop-down box and I choose people who live in this location. Why do you think I do that? Why is that such a big deal? Well, because if we target just anyone in that location, guess what's going to happen? Anybody that's just driving through. I could be on the highway driving through and my mobile phone reads that I'm in that location and boom, I'm going to be seeing your ads. So you're going to be paying for a lot of views to a lot of people that don't even live there. So we specifically want to target people who live in this location. Okay. Number two is when I'm doing my targeting here, I just put in my city. So let's do not an entire state. Let's do Atlanta. Okay. So I'm just going to do Atlanta, Georgia. And by default, Facebook's going to give you a 25-mile radius. So I can pull this radius in or out. This is really simple. Most of you guys already know how to do this. I generally, as a rule of thumb, like to do between 20 and 25-mile radius, unless I'm targeting a really small niche, at which point I might bump it out to about 40 miles. Okay. Now, here's where we start to get to the interesting parts. That's our age brackets. In the past, I used to tell folks to target somewhere around the age of 27 and 28 and up. But I'll tell you, within about the past 6 to 8 months, I've really seen some changes lately to where our CTR rates, our click-through rates, really drop off when we go all the way down to 28. And now I'm doing higher into the 30s. Okay, so now I'm generally doing about 32 or even up to 34 and higher. Tends to be the age bracket where I'm getting better results. Yes, you still get some leads from folks younger than 32 to 34. However, it's not worth it if by default you're paying more on a cost per click basis for all of your leads across the board just to get in a small handful of folks in that younger age bracket. Now, take everything with a grain of salt because every market is a little bit different. So for all I know, your market may be different. However, keep in mind that we do advertise on a national basis, and as a general rule of thumb, this is what I go by now. If you want to test a younger age bracket, then do so, but do it as a separate ad. Do not intermix and do both ads. And it's the same with the maximum age bracket. I no longer go into the 50s. I now top it out at either 45 to 48 max, because this seems to be prime home buying age group in the U.S. right now. And again, if you want to test, or if you're doing something specific like reverse mortgages, then obviously you're going to set up a different ad group. But if you're thinking, hey, Chad, you know what, I think my market might be different, that's fine. Set that up as a separate ad, run them side by side, and see where you get the better bang for your buck. All right? Awesome. Okay, so let's also take a look at our targeting. Something that a lot of folks forget to do is when you're setting your targeting, guys, we always put in what we include, but we often leave out what to exclude. See this little link here that says exclude people? Unless you want to be paying for your competitors' education, put in here, boom, mortgage loan officer. If you want to block loan officers from seeing your ads, then I come in here and I choose job titles, not interests, but job titles. I'm looking for either job titles or employer. I do mortgage loan officer. However, they go by different names. So some of them go by just the term loan officer. Some go by mortgage banker. Some go by mortgage broker. So I like to go down the list here and enter in the different groups. See how I keep coming up with new job titles? So I got loan officer, mortgage broker, mortgage loan officer. I'll even get mortgage banker in here. Watch this. There it is, job titles. And I'm telling Facebook, hey, if anybody has a Facebook account that lists their job as any of these, don't show them my ad. And I do the same thing for realtor, because realtors get to be looky-loos as well. They get curious, especially since it's you're targeting pretty much the same people they're marketing to. So I do realtor, I do real estate agent, and I enter in as many variations. See here, I have job title and employer. You're going to get even more varieties of job titles for realtors and real estate agents than you do for loan officer. So
I bet you home loan would be a good one too. If you type in home loan, I bet you'd find another job title under that as well.
Right. Let's give it a shot here. So
no job titles, but there is employers.
But we do have employers, absolutely. And that's another thing that Doren kind of is bringing up there too, is company names. So watch this. If I put in Coldwell, I'm going to find actual as listed as employers. Oops. Sorry, I had to scroll down to get to the group. There it is. So there we go. Coldwell Banker Residential Brokerage, employer. And then I go Century 21, Remax, Keller Williams, and you can run the whole gamut, and you can do the same for mortgages. Now, here's where I run into complaints, and loan officers say, holy crap, that's a lot of work. I don't want to do that every single time I run an ad. But this is going to save you. You got this little button down here that says save this audience. So go ahead and spend the time to do it and do it right, and then just save it as an audience so that the next time you go to run an ad, all you have to do is click on that audience and boom, all your settings are saved. Right? So this is going to save you wasted clicks that your competitors are just coming in and going, ooh, wow, I wonder what this guy's doing. You know, and oftentimes if they like what you're doing, they're going to copycat you. So this is the best way to block as many of them as humanly possible. So your click costs are going to go down, and you're just overall going to have a much better experience. Okay. Now, next on the list, something that a lot of people forget to do is on your placements, stop running Audience Network and stop running Instagram. Now, I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, it's not a bad thing to run Instagram ads, but don't run them side by side. Okay. If you're going to do Instagram ads, do them by themselves. Don't do Facebook and Instagram at the same time, because there needs to be some subtle differences between the way you run those two programs. So don't blend the two together if you want best results. For Audience Network, yes, you get a lot of traffic, but it's crap traffic right now. Okay, believe me, I'll let you guys know when the traffic and the quality improves, but as of right now, whenever we run our test on the Audience Network, we're just getting garbage compared to the Facebook and the Instagram quality. So just don't waste your money on it, right?
Chad, what about right column ads? Should we separate those out as well?
I typically do. I will run a test more often than not. I don't seem to get as good of results on the right column, but at the same time, I'm not big on assumptions, so I usually will test it out at least for a week or two, but only as a separate ad so that I can see how well it's pulling and if it's quality clicks. And
Yeah, I usually do my ads just straight mobile news feed, and I do my
right,
right column as a separate ad. Can you show our peeps how to uncheck the right column if they want to separate that out?
right, and that actually brings up another great point as well. Is whenever you're doing this, folks, um, the idea behind separating, just as Doran mentioned, is that not only do you get to see specific statistics as to the two different groups, but it's also going to show you, just because you're getting clicks doesn't mean those clicks are converting. But when you run them as separate campaigns, you can now track them and see, hey, are the clicks that I'm getting from my right-hand column, are they worthwhile? Or are the clicks
Mhm.
that I'm getting from my news feed, are those worthwhile as well? Okay. So basically what we're looking at now is to start really drilling down on it. This is where you get to your advanced options, guys. So this is where we can actually target. Now this is going to seem a little goofy, but check this out. I have no explanation for this, but this is really exciting. Is sometimes what you'll find is that the difference between an Apple device and an Android device are almost a 200 to 300% difference in cost. So I'll look through my statistics and I'll see that on Android I'm paying maybe 75 cents cost per click, but on an Apple device I'm paying $1.50 or even $2.50 cost per click. So when you run into those instances, you can actually come in here and tell the system to only run and target Android. And then I can go through and say, okay, do I want tablets? Do I want smartphones? What do I want? What kind of device do I want? And again, it seems like such a small thing, but it's all these little small things that make a world of difference in your end results. Okay, so it's definitely worth doing. I'm also going to point out here for your device types. This is where Doran was mentioning that well, sometimes I do desktop, sometimes I do mobile. This is where you're going to delineate between the two. Okay, sometimes you are getting a wild variation of results between desktop and mobile. So again,
Mhm.
I will run one ad specifically for mobile, and I'll run a separate ad specifically for desktop. And for those of you
Mhm.
taking notes, put a star next to it, because this is what separates those who are getting just average results and those who are getting phenomenal results. Okay, so big difference. Let's keep on scrolling down here. Okay, um, now something that a lot of folks aren't aware of, and it's because of the default setting here in Facebook that by default it tells you to do a daily budget. But check this out, guys. If you just click this drop-down box and move to a lifetime budget, watch what happens. Lifetime budget, let's say I'm going to run an ad for a week. Instead of telling Facebook to limit to just 20 bucks a day, I may say, okay, well, that's 140 bucks spread out over a week. So I'm going to put in here that over the life of the next week that I'm going to run my ad, I'm going to cap it at 140 bucks. But watch what happens. Watch what happens with my options. There's a new option that becomes available down here for your ad scheduling. So if I click on more options, I now have this button or option that runs ads on a schedule. So certain times of the day, you have dead zones, dead periods when you're running your ads. And when you keep your ads on during those dead zones, you're actually shooting yourself in the foot, right? Because everything is dictated by your click-through rate. And if you go 4, 5, 6, 7 hours with no clicks, your click-through rate's dropping, and you're going to be charged more for your very next round of clicks. So instead of just letting my ads run willy-nilly 24/7 for the next week, I can come in here and check certain times where I know my ads are performing well. So I know for a fact here in the Midwest, rush hours right around that, 4:30 to about 6 o'clock. So normally that's right about where I'll cut things off, and I won't turn it back on until about 7. Okay? So I don't have to come in here and manually turn on and turn off my ads anymore. I can just go through my whole week's schedule, or if I just want to do all the days the same, then I just come down here to where it says every day. And now I let Facebook do it. Facebook's going to automatically turn things on and turn things off for you. And oftentimes you'll see a nice uptick in your CTR rate, which is your click-through rate. And when your click-through rate goes up, your costs go down. So
That's
very
a great tip.
makes a world of difference, a world of difference. Okay. So any let me just kind of check the questions here before I keep going. So I see some questions. Okay, as far as what's better, mobile or desktop or tablet? Well, here's the thing: is it depends, and I hate to give a ambiguous answer like that, but really it does depend on your market and who you're targeting. Okay, so that's why I recommend that you do both, but do them separate. Track your results and then make your decision accordingly. Okay, so let's go ahead and make one last quick check, and then I'm going to jump back to I'm going to jump right back to my there we go, my slides. I just want to show you guys one other thing, and this is where a lot of misinformation comes into play. Okay, you'll oftentimes see articles and a lot of trainers telling you to come in and, oh, hey, you need to be doing carousel ads, you need to be doing slideshows, you need to be doing all these other things. But I'll tell you guys, after hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars spent on ads each year for our clients, the single image ad almost always, and when I say almost always, I mean over 90% of the time, just absolutely eats the lunch of all these other ad varieties. Okay, you can get fancy. Now videos, now with that said, video is definitely worth exploring because done correctly, video can kick some major booty as well. But by and large, I like to stick to just these two ad varieties, video and single image. Okay, now it doesn't mean you can't do some tests accordingly and that you might not hit a home run once in a while with the other ad varieties, but as a general rule of thumb, keep the bulk of your ads as a single image ad. Just keep the darn thing simple and you'll be much happier. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So you can get fancy once you have proven that you have repeatable results. But in the beginning, just stick with what works. All right. Okay. So I see some great questions coming over, guys, and I promise you I will circle back, but I still have a lot of material to cover and some really good tips for you. So let's get back to our slides here and let's talk about the ads themselves. So we talked about some of the technical stuff, and I hope you guys took some good notes on just some of those quick tips. But let's talk about now why, when you get to the creative aspect of your ads, why a lot of people just really aren't getting the results that they want. And you really need to ask yourself a big, big question right about now when you're creating your ads, and that is, what is your goal? Because I think a lot of people are confusing their goals and they're trying to make their ads do too many things at once. But as a general rule of thumb, when somebody comes to me and says, hey, Chad, I spent all this money on Facebook and my ads aren't working, these reasons over here, these bullet points tend to be 9.9 times out of 10 the reason why they're not getting results. Either the ad itself just isn't standing out, they're boring the prospects because it's not new, it's not exciting, it's not new information, it's just blending in with what everybody else is doing. Sometimes the ads are confusing to where they don't have a clear call to action and you're left wondering, well, what am I supposed to do next? Or they haven't really taken the time to zero in on who it is they're targeting. Okay, and what we really need to do, guys, is think about the way people use Facebook. How do you use Facebook? Do you stop and, as you're scrolling through your news feed, do you just stop and look at everyone and then ascertain, hey, I wonder if this is applicable to me? Oh, heck no. We just scroll through that darn thing rapid fire and see what jumps out. So if your ad isn't jumping out at them when they're quickly scrolling through and filtering out 90% of what's on there, then you're going to end up with very, very undesirable results. So let me ask you guys, what does good results mean to you? Because that's what really you're here for, right? You're here for because you want to get better results. You want to get good results when running ads on Facebook. What does good results even mean to you? Tell me in the chat box, guys. I'm going to tell you just this is my own anecdotal. This is when I run my numbers from what loan officers tell me they're getting when they first talk to me. This is what the industry average is for me based on interviewing about 700 loan officers in the past 9 months. Average conversion rate for the ad itself is 0.25% up front on their click-through rate. 0.25%. That means 400 people have to see that ad before even one will click. And then once that click is earned and they end up to the destination, which most loan officers are still sending their clicks over to their home website, their home page, a 1.4% conversion rate. So think about that. If you're only getting 1 out of 400 people to click, and then only a little over 1 out of 100 that actually click will actually fill anything out on the website. Is it any wonder that so many loan officers are freaked out saying, man, this sucks, I really expected better results. Now, if you're sending your traffic to a landing page, you're getting slightly better results. You're getting between 2 and 2.2% lead capture rate once they hit a landing page. Okay, so that's a little bit better, but still, are you happy with only getting 2%? How many people here are excited by 2%? Anybody sees that as an exciting number? Let me show you guys something.
I guess it depends on how much you're making on the at the end of the transaction. Hey,
Absolutely.
if you're making 20 G's on one transaction, that might be a pretty good equation, actually.
Right. Well, this is very true, but at the end of the day, wouldn't you like to be getting more? If you're making a lot per transaction, then let's make even more. Let's get more of those people into that funnel, because that's really what we're after here. So I'm going to show you guys some screenshots, and every single screenshot I'm showing you here is within the past 2.5 to 3 weeks. And each one of these is over the course of between 5 days and 7 days. And this is showing the conversion rates from landing pages of current campaigns that our clients are running. So we have a 34% completion rate. That means a conversion rate. So compared to that industry average, guys, of 1.4 or between 2 and 2.2 for a landing page, imagine bumping that up to a 34% lead capture rate.
Yeah, that's solid.
So here we got a 35% conversion rate. So this is for 11 leads captured. Again, this is in roughly 5-day time period. Here's a 16% conversion rate, but 55 leads captured in 1 week. 55, guys. 55. The bulk of those, you'll notice, are on smartphones, not PCs and laptops, which is pretty crazy. Look, you only have a 6% conversion on the PC, but a 16% conversion on the smartphones, and then 29% on tablets. Okay. Let's keep going. So here we got the 35%. So I clicked the back button on that, but we have a 44% completion on smartphones. That's 13 leads captured. Here's 66 leads captured in a week, 17% completion rate. So 19% for smartphones, all of this on smart devices, on mobile devices. Okay, 66 leads in a week. So here we got 6 leads over a 4-day period, 18% conversion. Okay, one of those on a PC and the rest of them on a smartphone. So I can just keep going down the list here. So here's 25 leads captured in a week. But are you seeing the trend compared to a 2% when you could be getting even on the low end, 16% was the lowest, and over 35% was the highest. So what do you think is happening differently for these campaigns? Well, that's what I'm about to show you right now. And I have about 100 of these I could scroll through for you, including the lead capture rate, but I think you get the point there. So let's go back. Let's go back to our slides, because there we go. Back to current. And I'm going to show you guys what we're doing differently that turns this into a 16% to 36% conversion, up from a nominal 1.4 to 2.2% conversion rate. And really, it's as simple as a pattern disrupt. Remember, we talked about how people scroll through their news feeds, just rapid fire, rapid fire, rapid fire. Well, in that case, guys, you need to focus on what you can do to snap them out of what they're doing and get them to do something else, namely what you want them to do. So a pattern disrupt means they see something that is opposite of what they tend to expect, what falls into the pattern. So loan officers that look at what all the other loan officers are doing and say, hey, I'm going to do that too because it must be working because everybody else is doing it. Well, that's called blending in, not pattern disruption. So I'm going to give you some examples of pattern disruption, okay? People hate ads, but what do people like? People like stories. So telling stories tends to work much better as opposed to something that's a blatantly obvious in-your-face ad. Something that taps into self-identity. That means calling out where people happen to live, their hometown, their city, their state. So that's why in most of my ads, if you've looked at some of my past webinars, when I'm showing ads, they oftentimes say, hey, home buyers in St. Louis. I'm calling them out for that, because when you see that if I live in St. Louis and I see St. Louis come across my news feed, I'm going to slow down a little bit because I go, oh, hey, I live there. If nothing else, it at least attracts the eyeballs because it's familiar. It's something that they relate to. Interactivity. So people hate ads, but they love reading stories. They love interactive quizzes. They love giving opinions, so things that ask them to rank or give their opinion on something, people are only too happy to tell you what they think, right? And then what we call FOMO. What does FOMO stand for? Fear of missing out. When they think they're missing out on something, that's when they start to panic a little bit and go, oh, hey, I better click here, as opposed to going, yeah, I'll do it later. And I'm going to give you an example. So let's look at the top of this slide here, your core ideas. Now, I'm not telling you that this makes for a good ad. What I did was I went to Facebook, and in the first mortgage ad I ran across, this is what I put up here. So the core idea behind what the ad had to say was essentially, hey, you know what? You need a loan. We happen to provide loans. We do a good job. Oh, we're trustworthy and reliable. If you distill it down to its core essence, that was their core message. And this is basically what the ad had. Here's how they translated that, or here's how they communicated that. Hey, if you're looking to buy a home, contact us today to find out which loan programs are best for you and your family. Now is a great time to buy a home before interest rates rise even more. Now, answer me this, guys. Does this or does this not sound like the stereotypical mortgage ad that you've seen a couple billion times everywhere else?
Oh, yeah. Me too all day long. They do that. Me too.
Exactly.
They have great service. Me too.
Exactly. So I took this, and with only about 30 seconds here, guys, I just typed this up. Really not a whole lot time put into it, but just tell me, would this not capture your attention at least more than this typical ad up here? Home buyers on the West Coast have been faced with rapidly rising costs to buy a home. In fact, some reports claim as much as a 44% increase in the cost to buy a home in the last few years alone. Large down payments, closing costs, and even the asking prices on homes seem to go up almost daily. In fact, at times you may even wonder if you can truly afford to buy a home at all. Thankfully, there is a solution, and then I just kind of trail it off there because there's no need to go through the whole thing. But what is different about this bottom chunk of text versus the typical ad chunk of text? What's different?
More exclamation points.
There you go. Reasons to give those exclamation points. We're talking specificity here, guys. We're presenting a problem, number one. We're not just saying, oh, hey, you need a loan? We got loans. We do a good job. You can trust us. Instead, we're presenting a problem that we know a lot of people run across. Mm-hmm. Okay? And that is, my biggest fear is that, hey, you know what? This is going to be freaking expensive. Look at the rates. I keep seeing everywhere that they're going up, they're going up, they're going up. I keep seeing how homes on the West Coast are, out of range for, the bulk of the population, and no signs of slowing down. Boom, boom, boom. I just see all of these problems. So let's present that problem and appeal to that conversation going on inside their head. So the problem is real, and it's targeted because we specifically appeal to individuals on the West Coast. In this case, if I'm in California, I'm going to specifically say in California. If I'm in Oregon, I'm going to say in Oregon, and so forth. It's relevant to that specific audience. It self-identifies because they see it in the ad and they go, oh, hey, I live here. Yeah, I'm looking to buy a home. I wonder what this is about. I wonder what the solution is. Because we magnify that pain by talking about that pain. Throwing specific numbers out there like 44% increase in costs. When I see that, I go, wow, I didn't know it was that bad. That sucks. Oh, well, good. He has a solution. Let me click here to read more. See, the only duty for that ad is to earn the click. I'm not there to sell them. I'm not there to get them to say, oh, hey, Chad, yes, please do my loan for me. No, that's asking too much of the ad. All I want is to get the freaking click. And if that's the only task I give and assign to my ads, I'm going to be much more successful than if I'm losing focus and trying to get it to do too many things at once. Okay? So let's talk about these pattern disruptions here. Now let me see here if my pattern disrupt. Here we go. Here we go. We go to pattern disrupt. So that was pattern disrupt number 2, was that specificity and talking about a specific problem. Pattern disrupt number 2 is where we ask people to compare something. So here's some of the ads I've done in the past for working with real estate agents when I'm looking to do some programs with them and help them generate more leads as well. We'll take 2 homes that they have to have listings and have people vote on them. Say, hey, if you were looking to buy a home, which home would you buy? Why would I do that? Well, because it gets the clicks. It gets them to click like, gets them to click share. So we ask them to click like. if they're voting for this house or to click share if they're voting for that house or something along those lines. There's a lot of different ways to go about doing it, but the bottom line is the more that they interact with those ads, the more Facebook shows my ad, the more engagement my ad shows, and Facebook now is charging me roughly a penny or even a fraction of that for my engagements versus 5 cents, 10 cents, 20 cents, 30 cents, 50 cents. My costs go down, I get shared, I tap into the viral nature of Facebook by asking people to do something that they already like to do, and that is to have an opinion on something, to rank something, to vote on something. So we do the same thing with pictures of nice kitchens. Oh, hey, which kitchen is nicer to you, or which style of home would you rather, Tuscan, or would you rather, craftsman style home? Those types of things. But we're showing pictures. We're getting the visual element involved. Or what's most important to you when you're buying a new home? This or that? Or would you rather a lower down payment or lower interest rate? Which would help you out more? So we ask these questions, guys. What's the most stressful part about buying a new home for you? We're getting them to engage. If we get them to engage, you've already won. Okay? We'll talk more about why later. Number 3, pattern disrupt number 3 is something that only they will understand. In this case, you. People like feeling that they're privy to certain information or that they're in the know. So you may have seen this in some of the viral websites run ads that'll say something along the lines of, oh, here's something that only a police officer would understand. And then it goes on and shows some pictures and tells an interesting story about police officers doing this or doing that. Well, you can do that for home buyers as well. Here's something that only current first-time home buyers will understand. And what I did to run this particular campaign was I tapped into by calling up some realtors I was doing business with, and I asked them for the worst, most craziest stories they ever had of working with a home buyer. Tell me the craziest experience you ever had that ever happened. Okay, do you mind if I turn that into an ad campaign? And we tell some of those crazy stories. People click them, people read them, people comment on them, people share them. And we turn it into an ad. It's an ad that doesn't look like an ad. But if I'm a first-time home buyer and I'm scrolling through my news feed and I see something that says, hey, here's a crazy story that you might relate to if you're a first-time home buyer, or that only first-time home buyers will understand. Well, really? Interesting. Or here's the craziest thing that ever happened. At my 15 years as a loan officer, the craziest first-time home buyer experience I've ever had. Right? So that leads us to our final pattern disrupt, and that's story time. People like stories. We sell with stories. So we abandon the traditional ad copy in favor of telling a story. And again, we can look at example A and example B, which is more interesting. Click here to learn the full truth about mortgage loans that the banks don't want you to know, which I've seen that ad a million times before. Or let's start telling a story that's relevant, that happened local. Home buyers beware, a local Missouri family nearly lost their home due to sneaky lending practices. That could happen to you as well. Buying a home turned into a horror story for the such and such family when they went to see a local loan officer, and you tell the story. It's going to suck them in more, as opposed to seeing something that just blends in because that ad has been run a million times before. So is this making sense, guys, that we're breaking things up, we're shaking things up? Okay? So we're tapping into the way people think. They like stories, they like engagement, they want to be entertained. They don't want to be bored. That's why they're on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So those are some pattern disrupts that can definitely give you a nice boost. Now I see a couple of questions here. So Chad, what was the average time to complete? What did that stand for when you were showing your screenshots? That was telling how long it took people to answer the questions on the landing page. And that brings up, I'm glad you asked that question because that's something else. General rule of thumb, guys, if it takes more than 1 minute and 45 seconds for them to complete answering your questions, you're going to see a huge, huge drop-off in your conversion. You noticed most of those time to completes were between 1 minute and 15 seconds and 1 minute and 35 seconds. Once you get over 1 minute and 45 seconds, you're going to see about a 50 to 60% drop-off as people get bored and they leave going, man, this is too much information, too much work. Don't make them work. People are lazy, all right? We can argue it, or we can just say, hey, you know what? It's the truth. Let's cater to it. Let's cater to that laziness.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now I want to talk to you guys about some other recent developments. Now, we don't have time for me to really show you how to do this, but again, the information is out there if you want to hunt it down. But this is some really, really cool recent developments that Facebook's been rolling out as far as their ad products. Number one is Facebook now allows you to target Facebook Messenger. So you can actually run ads and send ads directly to Facebook Messenger. Okay, people that have liked your page or commented or interacted or engaged with your page in one way, shape, or form or other, you have the ability to send them invites and ads as well. So let's say somebody just clicks like on a particular post. Let's say you posted one of those stories up above. Let's say you did some story selling and you posted an interesting story about the craziest moment first-time homebuyers ever experienced right here in St. Louis. Okay, somebody clicks on it, clicks like on that story. That like in the past earned you nothing. But now Facebook said, okay, let's turn those likes into actual page likes. And now you can send a message directly to their personal messenger that asks them and invites them to come like the page itself as opposed to just the post. Because when they've connected with your page, now your comments, now your ads, now your stories, now your engagements are going to be showing up in their newsfeed, right? So that's extremely powerful. And that's a very new ability that we can now implement with our ads. Group targeting. So let me tell you guys, there's gold mines sitting out there. Have you seen the local real estate groups, house hunting groups, home and real estate investment groups, buy and sell groups? All of them have people listing homes for sale and FSBOs and all this other stuff. And a lot of them have thousands and thousands of followers. Now we can target those groups and run ads to people who are members of those groups and even push ads into the group's feed itself.
That's pretty cool.
Insanely powerful. So it's a whole new chunk of people that you can target that were previously unavailable. Automated answer bots. So you can activate automated bots right within your Facebook business page itself, guys, so that when people have common questions that you typically have to spend a lot of time answering over and over and over and over again, well, you can now program your answer bots to ask them questions and give them an answer, the proper answer based on their questions, and actually lead them through a sales funnel and drive them over to a landing page. So it can answer their questions and then turn around and say, oh, by the way, go check out this page or go check out that page.
So is that on Messenger, or where is that interaction happening?
That interaction is, you're exactly right. It's happening right within Messenger. And it's something that you can activate right within the ad itself and turn onto your Facebook business page. So if somebody clicks to send you a message, whether or not you're at the golf course or out driving around in your car or on vacation, your answer bot's going to instantly respond to them, and it does a pretty darn good job.
So is it like an autoresponder? Like if you're away on vacation, it would automatically send a instant reply saying whatever it is you want them to, to see? Or is it, if they say this, then the bot says that?
Yeah, it's think of it as an if this then that application.
Wow.
So yeah, it's basically conditional. So based on the type of question that they're asking or what they have to say, it's going to give them options. So let's say somebody said, hey, I saw you posted a home in O'Fallon over there. How much is that home? Then it's going to actually give them options and say, okay, well, would you like to know the price, or would you like to wait and have Chad get back with you when he's available? And if they click, oh, well, I'd like to know the price right now, then it's going to go and find the price and deliver the pre-programmed answers and give them additional options after each question and answer. So it's actually quite sophisticated and allows you to interact with people instantly before they get bored and go somewhere else.
That is very cool. Wow.
So
amazing, all the tools in our toolbox nowadays.
It's nuts, and the thing is Facebook says it's nowhere near done. It has so many crazy things coming down the pipe here. Let's look at the lead quality, guys. This is probably the second after how do I capture leads. This is probably the second most frequent question I'm asked, and that's, well, how do I boost the quality of those leads once I get them? So let's say you're capturing your leads, but the people aren't really responding. That can be extremely frustrating, and hey, I'm just flushing money down the toilet if they're not responding, because it's not the leads you care about, it's the closed loans. We want the transactions, right? So I'm just going to tell you guys, when it comes to capturing leads, the responsibility of that lead quality falls in your lap and no one else's. Okay, so the first thing you got to do is embrace that and say, okay, good, because that means that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing, because that means I can do something about it. I'm not just at the mercy of Facebook. And here's what I've noticed, guys. You can have a 300 to 400% increase or decrease in your lead quality based on what you do immediately following when somebody fills out that landing page. Okay? So let's look at it this way. When I fill out your landing page, what happens? For most people, it goes, oh, hey, thank you for filling out my questionnaire. We'll be back with you shortly. So my question to you guys is this. What about that response makes you excited? What makes you pumped up and excited to hear from that person? What? Absolutely nothing. Because
right.
It does nothing. It tells me nothing. It doesn't even tell me what to expect. So the first and foremost thing that you need to do to boost your lead quality is manage their expectations with a thank you page. Don't just send them this little tiny message. Send them to a page. And I'm going to tell you, nobody likes to hear this, but I like doing video. So imagine this. Imagine a video where you say, hey, this is Chad Weber, and I want to thank you so much for taking the time to fill out and answer these questions. I just wanted to let you know we're getting started on processing your answers immediately. In fact, I'll probably have some answers ready for you within the next 1.5 to 2 hours. But in the meantime, I have a couple extra bonus materials I prepared for you that I thought might be helpful since you're looking to buy a home. And then boom, I direct them over to click here or to click there, and I give them a couple quick tips. And then I tell them, here's what's going to happen when I call you. Here's why I'm calling you. I'm not calling to pressure you. I'm not calling to harass you. I'm calling you because I can get you better answers if I get the answers to some additional quick questions. You know, I give them a reason why I'm going to be calling them and what to look forward to, and give them some extra tips. Over deliver. Describe what to expect. And what you'll find is people tend to follow directions better when you tell them what to do, as opposed to just going, you know what, they'll pick up when I call them. You know, because people are over marketed too. So you got to give them a reason, guys. So I might do a couple of things on here. I might tell them to head on over and go like my YouTube page or my Facebook page or this or that. I'm going to give them specific instructions, but just over deliver, folks. Manage their expectations. Okay, so what you're seeing on your screen, guys, right now, this is a downloadable ads cheat sheet that I prepared for you. So I'm going to go ahead and post this link in the chat box there. Let me go ahead and grab that link for you. Give me just a moment. And nothing you have to buy to download this cheat sheet, but what it does is it takes a lot of what we just discussed here today, and it's going to break things down for you. Okay? So let's go ahead and download this. Kind of give you an idea of what we got going on here. So it's really simple. It's nothing fancy, but it is effective. Now I'm putting the link to it in your chat box, so you can click on it directly instead of having to memorize that link. So if you look over in your GoToWebinar toolbar, should be to the right of your screen for most of you, you're going to see a clickable link. And what this is it's a series of questions that you need to ask whenever you're setting up an ad campaign. Okay, this is really going to help keep you on point, because oftentimes we listen to webinars like this and we hear this information, we nod our heads and go, yeah, that makes so much sense. But then we forget. Oh yeah, I'm going to remember that. But then, you know what, a couple days down the road when you're running your ads, what happens? You skip just one or two of those and the whole thing can come crashing down, right? Because each one of these is a little piece to the puzzle. You need all pieces of the puzzle to make it work. So please, please, please download your cheat sheet and put it to use. Print the darn thing out and use it, because I guarantee you, you will see improvement in your ads if you follow those instructions. Okay? So now I have a question for you guys. Here comes the interactive portion, and here's what I want to know from you guys. What is your biggest challenge in implementing? So far with what we've discussed here today, if I were to say, okay guys, now go out and do everything you just learned here today, what would be your biggest challenge? Let me know in the chat box. What would prevent you or get in the way of you getting awesome results? So Bob says losing focus. Ryan says his bank, getting them to approve. The tech portion says Jeff. I'm not really tech savvy, says Mike. I don't have good landing pages, says Larry. Charlotte also says landing pages. Writing ad copy. Steve says remembering everything. What do I make as my offer, says Luke. I mean, these are just flowing over. I'm hardly even able to keep up with all of these. But the funny thing is everything that you guys are saying seems to be condensed down into these three areas right here. Either it tends to be technology, which technology means your website, means landing page, means autoresponders, means the ads themselves, or knowing what to do. That's the skill set that goes into it, and remembering everything. Losing focus or getting distracted. That's what happens when you're busy wearing 20 different hats throughout your day being a loan officer, and being a loan officer gets in the way of making money as a loan officer. All the technical aspects of your day-to-day activities get in the way of you being able to really, really hyper-focus on learning this stuff and implementing this stuff. Okay? So that's why I promised you guys that I was going to blow your socks off here with something that I've been putting together, and I'm just really, really excited to roll this out as an offering to loan officers. Is, guys, basically here's what I put together here. We're rolling out what we call the Facebook Ads Mastermind and Toolkit. Okay, this is a mastermind that's focused on one thing and one thing only, and that is Facebook ads, generating leads, capturing leads, running Facebook ads. For those of you that want results like these, okay, look at this, 35%, 16%, there's another 35%, got 13 leads, 55 leads, 11 leads. All of these are between 5 days and a week time frame. What would that do for your business to get leads like this? On demand, spending a teeny tiny portion of what most people do. Because I'll tell you what, there are other platforms out there you can use to run ads, but a lot of them are very expensive. How many of you guys have tried running AdWords, Google Ads, paying $10, $20, $30 cost per click, as opposed to 60 cents cost per click on Facebook? It adds up in a hurry, doesn't it? So for those of you that say, hey, you know what? I don't want to lose focus. I want to hyper-focus and implement the quickest way possible to get wonderful, wonderful results using Facebook ads finally. Well, we're opening the floodgates, because here's what comes with this mastermind group, guys. First of all, you get access to our members-only mastermind meetings and trainings. Those meetings and trainings are focused on deploying your leads or deploying your ads and getting them assembled immediately. Not a week from now, not a month from now, but immediately. We do it live with you on those live trainings. Interactive skill set training. So when you're telling me, hey, I don't know how to do something, that's all covered during the mastermind. We don't leave anybody behind. Access to all of my Facebook marketing software. So I have a lot of really cool different softwares and programs and things that allow you to do some of the things that we talked about earlier. So the bots, for example, surveys and interactive quizzes and voting and giving opinions and story selling. All of these things can be handled through software. And typically this is software you need to go out and buy. Then you need to buy software over here and then over there and then over here. And then you got to duct tape it all together. Well, instead of that, guys, I just give you everything. Anything that you need from a technical standpoint is provided as part of the mastermind. Twice monthly, we perform full market analysis reports. These reports mean we take a look at what's going on in all across the U.S., and we report back, here are the best performing ads, because we have access to all of those statistics, not just our ads, anybody's ads. Anybody that's running real estate or mortgage related ads, I see their ads and I can see how well they're performing. I know their performance, I know their landing pages, and we perform these reports, or give you these reports showing you here's what's working best right now. So you're never operating at a disadvantage. You're never using old information. We do this twice each month. And for those of you that said landing pages are a challenge, I have complete landing page deployment software that comes with our mastermind, including done-for-you designs. So the designs are already done. Point, click, implement. It's that simple, guys. So in other words, all of those roadblocks, all of those challenges, all of those things that get in your way and stop you from taking the action you know you need to take, here's the solution. We also do new ad test and tweak sessions. So whenever you're deploying new ads or whenever we have something new coming down the pipe, we do live interactive test and tweak sessions showing you, okay, here's the changes I'm making, here's why I'm making, and here's what worked and here's what didn't. So there's no guesswork involved. And then for any of our members, you also get access to live reviews and critiques of your own campaigns. So if you're about to deploy something, you say, you know what, I'm a little bit nervous. I don't know if I should do this or if I should do that. Well, why guess when you can send it over as part of your membership and have it completely reviewed and critiqued live? Again, no guesswork, guys. Now, with this mastermind, folks, I'm putting out some rewards for those of you who take action and get in within the first 24 hours with what we call our fast action bonuses. And that's because I limit my masterminds. I'm doing 2 groups. I'm deploying 2 groups, okay? Each is a group of 12. I limit the size of my groups because, well, what happens when you saturate? What happens when you spread yourself too thin? I keep my groups small and tightly focused. Small and tightly focused. So that way I have more time to spend with you and answer your questions as opposed to you sitting on a call with 1,000 other loan officers saying, hey, he never had time to get to my calls, okay? So basically, folks, here's what I'm giving to those of you who take action right away, get into our first group. First of all, you're going to get an opportunity to participate in my new artificial intelligent landing page campaigns. Yes, these are interactive, artificial intelligent enhanced lead capture pages. Nothing like it on the market right now. Nothing. Nothing. We're rolling this out here within the next 30 to 45 days. Those who are a part of my mastermind, who got in early within the first 24 hours, you're going to get to participate in our initial case studies utilizing these artificially intelligent lead capture pages, unlike anything you've ever seen. So these are incredibly exciting. So you'll have a huge competitive advantage in your marketplace, guys, doing something that we talked about, pattern disrupts and getting people's attention. Well, guess what gets people's attention? Something that unique. One-on-one consultation with me to boost your lead quality, post-lead capture. In other words, automation, folks, the back end, follow-up, all of those things where a lot of people drop the ball and say, hey, you know what? I'm capturing leads, but I'm not sure how to make the most of them. Well, one-on-one consultation with me directly to help you get that taken care of right out of the gate so you're not pouring money down the drain. We want high-quality leads. Bonus training on how to automate your lead follow-up and save times with your in boosting your response. So for those of you that have questions about CRMs and autoresponders and all that, well, we have bonus trainings where we're going to show you how to put all of that together into an automated sales and marketing funnel. And then finally, I'm going to personally write an ad for you on a niche of your choice. So if you say, hey, you know what, I could really use some reverse mortgage leads or some VA, FHA, whatever niche you're going after, folks, I am more than happy to help you write that ad personally. This is what we do full time, folks, nationwide. I'm more than happy to help you get that launched and remove all of that doubt and guesswork by writing that first ad for you to boost your confidence and show you what you can be doing with Facebook. We also have some additional options for the busy bees amongst you. For those of you that say, hey, you know what? This all sounds great, but I'm just out of time. I don't have time to implement. You know, I'd love to learn all this, but I just don't have time. Well, here are 3 options. These are upgrades. These aren't across the board. This is for those of you that choose our busy option. And that is easy access to my technical staff that will set up and troubleshoot any technical issues you have. They take care of it for you. Hands off, guys. Done for you. Access to my graphics team. So for those of you that want to create ads, but yeah, I just don't have time to do that, but I really want something that looks good. Well, my graphics team will make it for you. And then finally, weekly campaign management. Again, hands off. We're going to push all the buttons, flip all the switches, and turn all the dials. Hands off, done for you guys. These are options that you can inquire about right here, mortgageadsclub.com/lead-mastermind. Because here's the deal, guys. Because of the fact that we're very, very limited in size, I don't just take anybody. We tend to be quite picky because we want to work with action takers, as I'm sure you do as well. You want to work with somebody that's an expert that's going to help you get where you need to be. And we want to work with action takers that are going to put this to action right away. So here's what you do is here's the link. I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste it here in the chat box for you. But all you got to do, folks, is go to this link and fill it out. Answer the simple questions. Tell us about what you're doing now currently with your marketing, what your challenges are, and why you should be considered as one of the 12 for group number 1. Okay? I'm just sending it over right now, folks. You should be seeing it, clickable link showing up in the chat box now. There you go. So it's now live. It's over in your chat box. Just click the link. It'll bring you to this page. Here's an example of questions. So it's really simple questions. Just we want to learn a little bit more about your challenges, what you face, what your income goals are, how committed you are, all that fun stuff. Okay, so it's a really fun page to fill out. It shouldn't take you much time, and we will get back with you ASAP. Arrange a quick one-on-one session to discuss and see if it's a good fit. Because again, we don't take everyone. But those of you that get in, I'm telling you this right now, you're going to have an absolute blast. These masterminds are intense, they're fast-paced, and we get results from day number 1. That's right, about 9 times out of 10, your very first leads are coming over from day number 1. So I see Tim's asking, is this for the U.S. only, or is this also available in Canada? Yes, it's also available in Canada. I have clients from about 6 different countries right now in my mastermind. So, so yeah, as long as your market is similar, we can do it. So yeah, we have clients in Canada already in our masterminds, so not a problem. Okay, is this different from using something there? Okay, so I see a lot of questions asking about, okay, step-by-step instructions. Yes, with our masterminds, everything is step-by-step. We do live trainings, and since we keep our groups small, we will get to 100% of the questions asked. Okay, we don't skip over because we've set aside enough time to make sure that we get to all of you. That's another reason why we keep it small. Okay, so really the goal here, folks, is to meet all of your conditions for success. So I have about 100 different responses here as to what challenges would keep you from implementing what you've learned here today. And that's the whole point of this mastermind, is we remove the technical issues, right? You have all the software that you're ever going to need, and you have me helping you in a small group atmosphere, live, on the line, demonstrating hands-on. We remove the uncertainty by showing you twice each month what the winning campaigns are all across the country. Even for the big guys, you go out there and you look at what Bankrate's doing, you look at what Quicken's doing, you look at what these big banks spending $1 million to $2 million a month on their ads are doing. We have access to all of their ads, all of their landing pages, and we analyze and we show you, hey, here's how to take the principles of what they're doing and apply it to your smaller budget and implement it on a hyper-local basis and get killer results. So there's no uncertainty. You're accessing the proven winners all across the country, and we update it twice each month so that you're never falling behind. And ultimately, guys, the end result is you're learning a skill set that will serve you for the rest of your career. Now, I see a lot of questions as far as pricing and, what should I spend on ads and all this and that. Okay, so those are all great questions, guys. So let me tell you this. We have a couple different packages that are customized based on what your needs are. Okay, so what I can tell you about pricing, folks, is this is not for those. If spending, let's say, I'm just going to throw out there, even just on the low end, say $500-600. If that's going to break the bank for you, this is not for you. Okay, if that's going to take a meal out of your mouth or be very heavy on your shoulders, this isn't for you. Okay, it's not a cheap program, but it is a very valuable program. Okay, so I'm just trying to filter out so that way I'm not wasting anybody's time jumping on board to talk one-on-one if it's outside of the budget. If you're bootstrapping it at the moment, then send me a message and I'll let you know what programs we have or that Doren has that might help you in that regard. Okay, but for our Facebook Mastermind, this is a intense, ready to go, and you need to have a budget to spend on your ads. Okay, now you don't need a huge budget for your ads, but I will tell you that I recommend a minimum of $300 to $400 per month to spend on your ads because you need that traffic. If you're willing to spend more, I demonstrated and showed how some loan officers are getting 50 to 55 leads in a single week. I guarantee you they're spending more. Okay, so that would be more along the lines of $700 or $800 a month on their ads. But at that point, 50 leads a week, you're 200 leads a month. Absolutely killer results. So for those of you that have the budget, you're going to be extremely, extremely happy. Okay. Is there an annual contract? Absolutely not. I just don't believe in tying you in. If something's working for you, I know you're going to continue. If it's not working for you, then absolutely you're more than welcome to pause or cancel. Okay. Have not had that happen yet with this program. Okay. So yeah, the link again, it's mortgageadsclub.com/lead-mastermind is the page to go to. And I put a clickable link in the chat box for you. Okay.
Chad, can I just make a quick comment?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think, as far as I'm concerned, you are the grandmaster sensei when it comes to Facebook ads, if you don't mind me saying so. I mean, you know a heck of a lot more than I do when it comes to Facebook ads. Perhaps that's not saying much, but, you're definitely the black belt of black belts in my world when it comes to Facebook ads for the mortgage industry, because you know a lot of the nuances that most of the generic Facebook gurus out there just have no clue about when it comes to the mortgage industry. And I think that's one of the reasons why your clients seek you out and stay with you for a long time, because you know how to get results for this specific industry. And this is about investing in becoming a black belt. You know, white belts get mediocre results. Black belts get extraordinary results. And so for those of you who are listening and watching this, ask yourself this question: what would it mean to me in my business, in my income, in my freedom, in my ability to create the life that I want for myself and my family, if I was to commit to becoming a black belt in self-sourcing, self-generating my own high-quality mortgage leads, with or without my realtors, with or without my database, having a system that self-sources quality leads every frickin' day of my career? What would that be worth to you to be a black belt at that skill set? I mean, I'm sure you'd agree, it's pretty dang hard to put a price tag on you having that kind of acumen, that kind of skill, that kind of knowledge, that kind of superpower, where you can literally flip a switch, turn on the faucet at will, create leads at will. And then, of course, you link that up with my database marketing systems, where you can turn those deals into additional repeat and referral business. And then you link that skill up with partnering with your realtors and feeding your realtors and using it as bait to attract top dog realtors who send you all their business as a condition of working with you. You start to cross-pollinate this skill with database marketing and realtor marketing. Dude, we're talking about pouring gasoline on the fire at a whole other level like you've never seen before. That's the power of stepping up and committing to not just being a novice, not just being a dabbler, but being a black belt. And if you want to be a black belt, it's not going to come from dabbling. It's going to come from you committing and investing in your own success and working with a grandmaster sensei like Chad to teach you the ways of the master. And every dedicated student becomes like the master. And I'm telling you what, you follow Chad and you walk in his ways, you will be paid like never before. I promise you that.
Well,
That's all I got to say.
Well, I like what you said about realtors, because I just want to share my clients who have had the explosive transformations are the clients who have taken their leads and made them or leveraged them into more realtor relationships. Because what happens, just as Doren was mentioning, what happens when you become the gatekeeper to the lead as opposed to vice versa? Because there's an inverse relationship there currently where the loan officers tend to rely on the realtors for the leads, right? That's why loan officers are the ones banging on the realtors' doors and the realtors aren't banging on your doors, right? And that's why when you hear complaints that, oh man, realtors have this terrible attitude about working with loan officers, blah, blah, blah. Well, oftentimes it's because they know that they're the ones in control of the lead, and they know, hey, you need me more than I need you. But what happens
Mm-hmm.
if you reverse that relationship? What happens when they need you every bit as much, if not more so, than you need them? Because now
Then
you're
you
the one
pick
getting
and
all the
choose. You pick and choose, and you
right.
choose the best of the best that you actually enjoy working with, that work on your terms, not theirs, who send you all of their business, none of this giving out 3 business card bullshit.
Right. Right.
And they send you all their buyers, and they make it a requirement of doing business with them to get pre-approved through you. That's how you roll when you own the lead, my friends. That's how you roll. A whole
You know,
different world.
let me tell you guys a quick story. And this just cracks me up. This cracks me up. Is I had a client who, when he came to me, he told me that even though he was just a couple months away from losing his house if he didn't somehow find a way to start making more money as a loan officer. And, and he said, I'm borrowing money to hire you. He said, but let me tell you, I'm willing to do literally anything that you tell me to do except for one thing. And I said, what's that? He said, I will not work with realtors. And I told him, I said, well, I can appreciate the spirit of why you're saying it. But I said, I'm just going to be very upfront with you. If what you say is true and you're just a couple months away from losing your house, I don't think you can afford to be that picky. I said, let's take a look at why you're saying that. Tell me why you're willing to do literally anything, including rob a bank, before you would work with realtors. And then he just went on to tell me for the next 20 minutes all these terrible things and experiences he had with realtors. So what we did was we analyzed what he was doing to market to realtors and get those referrals. And what we found was his big mistake was he was marketing to just any realtor that would talk to him. And you can't do that, folks. You can't do that because statistically speaking, according to the National Association of Realtors, close to 70% of all realtors only close 3 or 4 deals per year. 3 or 4 deals a year. Those aren't the folks that you need to be spending your time working with. Those are the folks that are the time wasters that make you jump through a whole bunch of hoops, and then you do all of that and then wonder, where's my business? Well, they're not giving it to you because they don't have any business to give you, right? So
Mm-hmm.
what we did was we shut down all of his realtor marketing, and I said, let's focus on Facebook. I said, don't do any more realtor marketing for the next 2 to 3 weeks, and we're just going to do nothing but capture a bunch of purchase leads, and we're going to capture them early in the process before they've even picked out a realtor. And that's what we did. At the end of those 3 weeks, he came back to me and I said, okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to turn on your realtor marketing again, but this time we're going to go after the big guys. We're going to go after guys doing about 20 deals or more a year. And this time, instead of calling them up and making a bunch of promises, you're going to walk in the front door with borrowers, with buyers that don't have realtors yet. And we're going to see what happens. The very next month, I get an email from this loan officer begging me for a quick session, emergency session, because he said, I have so many realtors that are banging down my door. I don't know, how do I pick? How do I pick who I want to work with and who I don't? And during that conversation, he said something that I'll never forget. He said, yeah, I've been a loan officer for over 21 years. This is the first time realtors are bringing me out for dinner. They're schmoozing me. And he said, you know what? I'm having such a wonderful time because the shoe's on the other foot now. I'm the guy now shaking their hand saying, okay, you'll hear from me, later.
Right? Now he's got the cookie. Finally. Now he's got the cookie.
And that's the type of transformation that we want here for you, is when you learn this skill, when you know how to generate leads on demand as opposed to going out and buying leads, and we all know how much that sucks, right? How many of you guys enjoy buying leads that have been sold to 20 other loan officers?
Exactly.
So that's what our whole idea here is. And as you see on the screen, guys, because I see a lot of you guys saying, well, I do this type of loan or I do that type of loan. I don't care if it's purchase, FHA, VA, reverse, DPA, damage credit, self-employed. We've worked with all the major niches. Okay, so this works universally, minus the one area that I will tell you that I don't tend to focus on is refi. And that's fine because it's a purchase market now anyways. If you're looking for stable long-term business, you need to be focusing on your core anyhow, right? So we could do a little bit of refi, but it will not be our focus during this mastermind. Our focus is on long-term business that's going to build your core. All right, so I see a bunch more questions popping up here, and I apologize, guys, if I missed your question. Feel free to toss it back out there for me. I'm getting to as many of them as I can. So,
Chad, before you before you go with additional questions, I just want to mention I have another appointment, so you can continue,
sure.
and you've got the reins. So I
Absolutely.
just want to thank you on behalf of our peeps, our audience, for all the amazing information you've shared so generously today. I mean, phenomenal stuff. I learned a ton. I'm sure a lot of people listening, if not all of them, learned a ton. So thank you on their behalf for all the great insight. And thank you for being generous with your time as well. I know you're going way over time answering all these questions. So
Great. Well, thanks.
for those of you who have not yet applied for the Mastermind, get off your assets, get on your keyboards, get in line ASAP. He's only got a tribe of 12 he's going to be mentoring here. You want to be in that 12. You don't want to be left out in the cold. You don't want to be slugging through the grime and the slime, doing all this shit yourself. You want to learn the ways of the master. So much easier, so much more profitable, so much more expedited. You'll turn decades into days. It pays to invest in your own success with mentoring. I promise you that. Best thing you could ever do is invest in effective mentoring. Not people who just talk theory, people who actually know it, live it, breathe it, and chew it for breakfast. And Chad is the man when it comes to Facebook ads, as I'm sure you're well aware. So that's all I got. I'm over and out. Thanks, everybody.
Great.
We'll be in touch and enjoy the rest of the, the mentoring session here with Chad.
Thank you so much, Doren.
All
Have
right,
a good
my
evening.
pleasure, man. Cheers. Peace.
Bye now. All right, folks. So I'm going to try to scroll through here and grab these questions. If I did miss your question, I have a couple hundred of them sitting here. So please, by all means, pop them back in here. I'm more than happy to grab these. So let's see here. So that's there. Okay, so I see some questions as far as landing pages. Is this ClickFunnels? No. The software that we provide for landing pages, it's not ClickFunnels. This is something specific to my methods and whatnot. So this is some kick-butt software that I'll be giving you access to by my own design. Okay. Also, for those of you that use WordPress as your primary means of deploying your websites, we also have landing page software that works with WordPress as well, if that's your preferred method for hosting and getting on the web. Okay. All right. Okay, so Chad, can you email the, yeah, I did, guys, I did record, so I will do my best to get that video processed and sent out to you following this call. For those of you that missed some of the call or maybe got in late, I will definitely email that out to you probably within about 30 to 45 minutes of today's call. So I'll get it out to you as quickly as possible, but it does take some time to process once the call is up. But I did indeed record, so I don't mind shooting that out to you guys. Okay. All right, Chad. What is the initial investment? That's what we do. That's what this link here is for. The link that you're seeing on the screen. When we do a strategy session, when you click your submission, folks, when you answer those questions to be a part of the mastermind, what I will do is I will follow up with a phone call. So you and I will talk one-on-one, and we'll find out which features you need as part of your mastermind, and we'll create that together. Okay. I try to be as flexible as possible, and I've tried to avoid just pigeonholing and having just some off-the-shelf type product and saying, oh, it's X amount of dollars, and that's all it is. No, what I try to do is find out, okay, you're going to need this feature, and this feature. You mostly need help in this area and that area. Therefore, here's the investment for you to get going. Okay. So that's what we hammer out together on the call if you're picked as part of one of the two groups that we're deploying. Chad, when are the groups deploying? So if you sign up, we will be meeting together and actually begin marketing together within 10 days. Okay? So yeah, something that'll be happening pretty quickly. And yeah, we typically fill these up within 2 to 3 days of the call, if that. So I try to get to as many people as possible, but I only have so many hours in the day where I could call and chat with you folks. So otherwise it'd be filled up probably within the first hour but since I only review your applications one at a time and speak to you directly, generally it's about 48 hours before we're filled up. But to get those bonuses, for those of you that want to be a part of the artificial intelligent landing page case study and want the done for you ad and all those extra bonuses, that's for those of you that jump on board within the first 24 hours. Okay, so I strongly recommend if you like those bonuses, you're going to want to jump on board. For those of you that need the done for you services that you're just too busy to implement yourself, then let me know when you're filling out that application at the link below. So here's those fast action bonuses again, guys. Okay. Has everybody got the link okay? Did everybody find the link in your in the chat box off to the side? I'm going to go back to the main page as well. So this is the breakdown of the mastermind. Yeah, my goal is to make you absolutely killer at launching and making use of Facebook ads, because it really is the tool that levels the playing field. Okay, so I see some questions. Okay, Chad, is today an option to talk to you? So I'll probably be able to squeeze in just a handful of individuals today. The bulk will be tomorrow, but I should be able to squeeze in a handful for today. Okay. All right. Good, great questions, guys. I'm just scrolling through again, so my apologies for the silence. I'm just got so many of them trying to flag the ones that I already responded to. Okay, so driving traffic. Okay, is that audio still? Because I see a couple people had commented that the audio was cutting in and out. Is that still cutting in and out for you guys or no? My apologies. You know how go to webinar. So Paul had asked, Chad, what is the percentage of Android users versus Apple users? So that was from earlier today when I was talking about Apple versus Android. And in most cases, I see it's cheaper to target on Facebook individuals who are using Android devices. And the split tends to be about 60% Android and about 40% Apple. Tends to be. Obviously, there are differences on a city-by-city basis, but yeah, I tend to see more Android users lately than I do Apple users. And I don't know why. I don't know why there's such a difference in pricing and conversion, but it definitely exists. It definitely exists. So that's why I like to split it up. So you guys want to see something else really cool? For those of you who stuck around? Anybody want to see something really cool on Facebook? All right. Okay, I'm going to show you guys something that I didn't show earlier. It's really neat about Facebook. So watch this. It's going to give me about 30 seconds here to log out of my slides and head over to my Ads Manager. So let me go back to my Ads Manager dashboard, and I'm going to show you guys something really cool. Just got to minimize a couple tabs here. Okay. Okay, so watch this, guys. Okay, so I'm in my Ads Manager, and after running a campaign, check this out. This is how we find out. So those of you asking about Android and whatnot, see how I have platform and device and I have placement and device? So when I go into my Ads Manager, within my dashboard, Facebook actually tracks all of this. So if I click on placement and device, I can actually come through and I can see which devices I was getting the best results on. So right here I can see my iPhone, iPad, desktop. So I can see that the mobile devices just absolutely kicked the butt of the desktop. On my Android smartphone, I got triple the volume almost. I got 74 clicks from Android. Now this is a rare instance where iPhone was actually cheap for this particular area. Usually 9 times out of 10 I'll see the cost will be double or even triple for iPhones. In this particular target market, the reverse was true. It was actually a little bit, by about 3 pennies, cheaper for the cheapest iPhone versus the cheapest Android clicks. But check out the bulk of Android versus the iPhone. I got 74 clicks versus 28 on iPhone. So this is where you find that out, is your breakdown. So I can come in here and I can target age and gender, and I can even see which age brackets I'm getting the best results in. Where am I getting the most clicks? Where am I paying for the most? So see here, I got 35 through 44 male and 35 through 44 female. I got 55 clicks for male, 46 for female. Then see how when I go into the older bracket, the 45 through 54, it drops to only 14 clicks. Okay, and then I can see something similar for the younger age brackets as well. But again, this is these are some of the features that a lot of individuals don't even realize are there. And there's so much more, just so much more that you can do on Facebook. But when you start to get this kind of information, guys, everything else that we were talking about becomes second nature. It becomes easy to do those things that I was talking about. We don't have to guess. We don't have to engage in theory. We don't have to postulate this and that. No, we can go and look and find out for a fact that I'm getting better results targeting this age bracket, this gender, on this mobile device versus that mobile device for this time of day. When you start drilling down on those types of details, everything becomes so much easier. Your costs become cheaper, your click volume goes through the roof, and therefore you can afford to buy even more traffic and therefore get that many more leads. Does that make sense? See how all this comes together? So how many of you guys are on the fence versus how many of you guys have scheduled an appointment with me? I'm just curious. How many of you guys on the call have went ahead and scheduled a call with me? I just want to see what I should expect as far as my schedule coming up here. All right, good deal. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10, 11. Okay, so yeah, wow. Okay, so this far into it, and we already have over well, actually, it looks like over 2 dozen scheduled already. So yeah, that's the grand total number of slots I have, and that's just the individuals that are still on the call. So it looks like I have quite a few from earlier as well. So yeah, guys, basically here's what's going to happen next is I'm going to take about the next hour to go through and read the responses, and that's when I'm going to start sending out the invites for a quick 15-minute strategy session for you and I to chat and go over the details and figure out if this is a good fit for you. Okay. If by chance it's not a good fit, I'm going to come right out and I'm going to tell you right up front, guys. That's the one thing about me is I'm very blunt. I don't pull any punches because I am paid to help you make more money. That's it. I'm not paid to sugarcoat things. If I sugarcoat things, I'm doing you a disservice. If I'm being blunt and honest and upfront with you, that's what helps, right? So if it's not a good fit, I'm not going to try to tell you it is. I'm going to tell you it's not a good fit. But I also don't mind making some other alternative recommendations if it is not. If it is a good fit, then I'm going to tell you that as well, and I'm going to invite you into the mastermind, and I hope that you're ready to rock and roll. Okay, so that you can grab one of these 12 slots, well, 24 slots technically, because I have 2 groups deploying. Okay. All right, guys. So I want to thank all of you for sticking around. And did I miss anybody's questions or anybody have any feedback you want to share with me in the chat box? Just let me know, guys, if I missed anything or if you have any feedback, any comments, questions, funny jokes. Just let me know in that chat box. All right. So it looks like we got a couple more requests sent out. Very good. Very good. All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much for sticking around today. And I will be in touch shortly. And I hope that you take action. If nothing else, take some action on what you've learned here today. All right? Great, guys. I'll chat with you very soon. Make it a great one. Bye now.